Warning: the following podcast, which contains strong language and mature content, is unsuitable for children or for the faint of heart. The subject matter discussed will be frightening and graphic in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
When you wanna hear about the paranormal, you get the Spooked Girls. True crime that makes you hypothermal. With the three Spooked Girls, stabby snippets will give you dreams. Tara and Jessica will make you along with the Spooked Girls. Bring on the slaughter, we on that haunted ground. Spooked Girls. The three Spooked Girls.
Hey there, Spooksters, and welcome back to another episode here on Three Spooked Girls. My name is Jessica, and as always, I'm joined by my favorite ghoul friend, Tara.
Hey, Spooksters.
Today, we're going to be discussing one of my favorite movies from high school that I was like, Tara, you must watch this and we must recap it because it's described as like a mystery, murdery thriller. We're going to be talking about Skulls. But before that, if you want to hang out with us on social media, you can do so by heading over to Instagram, Facebook, all the places. Our handle is at Three Spooked Girls. And if you want to be able to hang out with like-minded individuals, also be able to chit chat with Tara and I, because we're also in this group. We have an amazing Facebook group, which is Three Spooked Girls Official. We love when people are in there reacting. We have some posts that go every month that we just kind of like be able to see what's going on in everyone's life. We also do discussion posts. There's so much stuff happening inside the Facebook group. You should definitely join. Because I know I've said this on here before, but there's so many times where I'm like scrolling through Facebook because, I believe that Facebook is for Facebook groups now. And I'll be scrolling through it and I'll be like, oh my God, the group would really love this. And then one of you guys have beat me to it because you posted it in the group. And I'm like, I love my like-minded little weirdos on this internet because it's amazing. So definitely check that out. Again, that is Three Spooked Girls Official. If you want to help support the show, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/Three Spooked Girls. For little as $1, you get one bonus episode per month. I did a totally different type of episode for March, which was crazy animal attacks.
It was so scary / fun. I feel bad saying fun, but it's just crazy stories.
I'm hoping it didn't unlock fears for people because, if you listen to it, if you're a patron and you listen to it, or you go become a patron and listen to it, you'll notice I didn't put any shark attacks because I'm petrified of sharks. So hopefully there's a little bit of fear, but a little bit of, I'm safe in it,
Yeah.
Kind of like how we feel when we watch horror movies.
Sure.
Definitely check it out. We also have a giant backlog over there. I mean, we've been doing the podcast for 7.5+ years. And so we started our Patreon a few months in. So definitely check that out. And then 5 and up patrons get ad-free episodes the day before. So yay. Definitely check it out. If you are a reader, you should definitely check out our book club. We are the Spookster Literary Society. Every month on the last Sunday of the month, we meet for about 30 minutes and chat about a book. We, talk about other books. This last month was great. I'm going to be honest. It was the first time I think we all had the same opinion about a book.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I was like, I love this. This is amazing. So if you want to do that, everything that I've talked about just now is in our show notes. So definitely check it out. All the links are there. And without further ado, we're going to talk about the 2000 classic, The Skulls.
Yay.
Starring Joshua Jackson, who Tara knows is one of my childhood crushes, and Paul Walker. This movie is so quintessential Jessica in high school. I loved it. I didn't see it in theaters. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't see it in theaters, but I became so obsessed with this movie. I watched it all the time because it was on do you remember on Sundays, they would just play movies back to back on TNT or USA. I had cable.
Yeah.
My parents were like, this is what you get. And I was like, cool. So it would come on. It may have even come on MTV. And I remember watching it because it felt like this. I know this is going to sound weird, but this safe, scary movie for me to watch because it's not a scary movie. No. It's a thriller.
Yeah.
But it felt like it had these because it does kind of have dark, ominous tones to it. And it's very it's secret society murder club-y. So I was hooked on this movie. to the point where I was telling Tara before we were recording, I watched it so much, like every time it came on cable, I would just like watch it. And so one of my friends was like, you're obsessed with it. And I would also, because back in the day, you would go rent movies for those of you who are young and have never been to a Blockbuster. But my town had a movie theater or a movie like rental place. It was called Movie Time. And it was next to the hardware store. And it was little. And I didn't quite understand why there was like a room that you had to walk into in the back. And I do now as an adult. Like I got it.
Oh my God.
Later as a teen and an adult. And I was like, because I couldn't figure out like what it was, you know, because it was like a door. It wasn't a curtain. It was like a little, literally a door.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know what that is. And then my mom would be like, you can't go back there. And I'd be like, why not? That person just did. It was a dude, by the way. It was always a dude. Be like, that dude did. And she's like, no, it's skeezy. But for those of you who know, before there was internet porn, you could rent your porn from a place. But I would go and I'd rent the Skulls all the time on VHS. And so for my 16th birthday, my friend bought me the Skulls on VHS. And Tara and I were like, I should have been able to keep that. I don't own any of my VHSs that I used to have.
Me either.
Once I got a DVD player, once I got a DVD player and my VCR stopped working, I think I just got rid of them all.
Yeah.
So this is something that Jessica would watch on like a Friday night in her room.
I love it.
Yeah. So let's dive in. So it's an Ivy League school. It is Yale without them saying it's Yale, which is interesting because if you watch, there's like a scene where Joshua Jackson's in class and he's like sitting at a table. And I was like, oh, this is very Rory Gilmore.
Oh my God. Yeah. I know. That's what I kept thinking at first before I realized it was supposed to be Yale. I was like, this looks like Gilmore Girls so much.
Same. It starts out with this beautiful man by the name of Joshua Jackson. Tara's going to laugh at me through this whole episode, the way I'm going to like swoon from this man.
Side.
He is a collegiate rower. So he's on like a row team and everything like that. The first thing you see is he's like doing the row machine. And then he has like to go do a work shift at like the cafeteria. And then he goes to his competition. His name is Lucas McNamara. I can't say it.
McNamara.
Thank you. Which I feel like is like the rich or bad guy name for like every movie.
Oh my God, totally.
Yeah, because like in Bones, there's like a super duper rich family who like controls the world named McNamara. And I was like, okay, this is just the name they used. So that's Joshua Jackson's character. His name is Lucas. He is the co-captain of the rowing team. And he has a friend by the name of Will, who is the captain or the caller of it. They have this big row thing happening at the beginning. One of his like teammates, his row pops off. No, that's not the word. What is it called?
Or.
Thank you. I don't know where I was going with this.
His udder.
I think I was trying to say rudder and like I was like, that's not right.
Close enough. You're trying to join the words together between rowing and yeah, I don't even know. That doesn't work either.
Or and rudder, udder.
Yes.
His oar pops off and he's like, okay. So Lucas's character like really is like commanding and he's like tells the guy when to drop it, when to jump out, the whole thing. And they fall behind and then they end up winning and it's this big thing and they're drinking out of like their trophy and it's Lisa Bibb is in it as well, who's a phenomenal actress. And she is, you know, like you can tell she loves him and he loves her. But there's a class issue because of the fact that like Lucas is not necessarily rich.
No, he's not at all.
He's there on scholarship. He doesn't know who his dad is. And his mom died in a car accident when he was very young, like infant. And so he was put into like foster system. He is described as like an orphan and at Yale on a scholarship. And he's trying to get into Harvard Law. Also has a group of friends that are like the seedy friends.
Oh my God. I loved them. They were so funny.
They were.
Because this was the first time I've ever watched this. I wasn't sure if it was just going to be like just to give us some like quick background on like where he came from. But I was like, they are much more in the story than I realized.
Right.
And honestly, I loved that. I'm not going to lie. I loved it.
Essentially, it's like he grew up in like the foster system and these are like rough and tumble kids in wherever.
They don't even say where they are really. So, and their little town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be wherever Yale is. So in Connecticut. And I was like, there's these rough and tumble kids of Connecticut. Okay. I was like, and like I mentioned earlier, Lisa Bibb is in this movie and her name is Chloe. She's super in love with Luke.
New Haven, by the way. I looked it up.
That's what it is. I knew it started with an H and it was Connecticut. I was like, I know this.
Yeah.
I watched Gilmore Girls. I know this shit. So Luke and Will and Chloe are like three chummies. They're best friends. They like hang out together. In fact, Chloe lives they like live in dorms and Chloe lives upstairs, and their room is actually connected by like a dumbwaiter, which is really funny because she's like, the pizza's here, and she like lowers it down to them and then like pulls it back up because they have to come upstairs and eat with her. But they start talking about the fact that Luke really wants to go to Harvard Law School and that he understands that he's looking at like almost like $200,000 in debt. Plus he already owes $100 and something thousand to Yale. So he's like, fuck. He's like, I don't know how I'm going to pull this. But if I join this secret society, it basically is going to pay for itself. And that society is called the Skulls. And Chloe tells us that she went on a date with a guy her freshman year, because they're seniors at this point, that she'd gone on a date with a guy her freshman year who was one of the Skulls. And how she knows is like she brought it up in jest, and the guy freaked out and just ran away.
Mm-hmm. Don't talk about it. It's like Fight Club.
Yeah, you don't talk about it. First rule of the Skulls, you don't talk about the Skulls. They actually have so many rules. They have like a whole book.
That book is thick as fuck. I was like,
right.
Who's supposed to remember all this?
Right. So he's sitting there and he basically has made it known that he's interested in joining the Skulls. And they do this thing called getting like the big tap. And so basically, if you're not tapped by like a certain day of the year by midnight, you're not chosen. And he's sitting there having pizza with Chloe and Will. And by the way, Will is like a journalist major. So he is the Rory Gilmore of this movie.
He is, yeah.
They're sitting there and he gets a phone call and then he is like, you have to go to this payphone. You have 40 seconds. And so he gets on his bike and he runs there, or he rides there. Then he gets to the payphone. The payphone is ringing. He answers it. They tell him to ditch the bike and go to this one place. And he basically like goes into this room where there's like planets hanging from the ceiling. And I was like, is this like, I don't know what kind of classroom at a college level has paper mache like planets hanging from the ceiling. But he finds a cell phone taped there and they give him instructions that he's supposed to go to the window and there's a glass there. And so he drinks this thing that says drink me, which is very Alice in Wonderland of him. Mm-hmm. And he drinks it with like, he has like the slightest hesitation. It's like half a second and then he drinks it and then it basically knocks him the fuck out. And he wakes up in this like dungeon-esque room that is like a moat with these like big cement circles in the middle, like a bunch of them. And there's coffins on them. And he wakes up inside a coffin.
Ugh, so creepy.
Right. But also, like, as far as the secret society, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And all these different guys, like, are waking up. And then there's this one casket that isn't opening. So Luke goes up and, like, bangs on it. And, of course, when he bangs on it, the guy shoots up and is like, I want some more of that. And we meet another main character in this movie by the name of Caleb Mandrake, who is played by Paul Walker. So they basically are tapped. They have to do some stuff. They are told they have to go get a mascot from another secret society. And so they break into this like mausoleum thing that's like literally on a moat, like an island surrounded by a moat. And they're looking for a snake, which turns out to be a weather vane. Luke and Caleb basically climb to the top and then like literally climb outside onto the tower to get it.
Oh my God.
Caleb falls. Luke tries to save him because they're like rocking this thing because no one thought to bring a tool.
No. So they're just trying to like rip it off.
Yeah. Off the top of this like tower that's like, it's only like maybe a 2-story tower. So it wasn't like, and they fell into water, but they fall into the water. There's this moment where like Caleb comes up and he's like, Luke, he's like screaming for him. And then the snake pops up, which is such classic that time period joke where like this like vicious snake mouth pops up and Caleb's like, oh no. And then like Luke just kind of swims to the top.
What's up? I'm here.
He's like, hello, I'm here. So then they become instant friends. Because they do this, they get back to their room. It's like the next morning, and Will is kind of being a little kind of mean in a way.
He is, yeah. I think it's partially because he's jealous that he doesn't get to be a part of it. And I think it's also partial because he thought this was how I lose my best friend. But yeah, he was a little bitch about it. He was not nice whatsoever. And poor, what's her character's name?
Chloe.
Chloe, okay, I thought so. And I feel so bad for Chloe because she's just like sitting there disassociating while they're arguing. She's like, oh God, I'm just gonna pretend I'm not here while they do all this.
Right. And it's like, it's so interesting because like this is the part where like if I was a film critic, I would have been like, this is the bad twist. Because less than 12 hours before, Will and Chloe are talking about kind of how excited they are that he would join this. And they're like joking around about it. And they know it's a secret society nobody can fucking talk about because they were just talking about it. And then Luke comes home and they're suddenly like, Why won't you tell us about your secret society that we know is supposed to be a secret?
You answered your own question.
Right? Like, as an adult watching this movie, I was like, well, yeah, he's not going to tell you it's the rule of Fight Club. Like, you don't talk about Fight Club. Like, we all know this.
It also told me that Will did not think he was going to get picked for it at all. So he didn't think he'd have to worry about it at all.
That's very true. I think that Will was like, oh, it's fine that you have this dream of having these people come and take care of you financially, but it's never going to happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
And also that calls back to like early in the movie when Will is trying to talk Luke into asking Chloe out. And he's like, I can't, we're from two different worlds. Like, he's like, her family has a private jet. I've never even been on a jet. And Will doesn't go, dude, it doesn't matter. He's just kind of like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
She rich and you're not. And so don't even try. And so like Will is kind of like a selfish friend. I will call it out.
Mm-hmm.
He's very much like, okay, now I'm losing this. And Chloe likes Luke romantically. Anyone can see it. Blind people can see it. She ends up leaving the room because Will storms out like a little bitch. And then Chloe kind of leaves too.
Well, she leaves because he gets that phone call and has to go.
Yeah. So before like they all leave, before Will leaves, like all meh, the phone rings and it's Caleb Mandrake calling to talk to Luke because basically in the conversation he calls out that like Caleb Mandrake is part of this. Because of the fact that it's supposed to be this like secret society, Luke panics because he's like, how do you know that? Why are you bringing up Caleb? And Will doesn't really see that from the perspective of Luke of like trying to protect the people in the club, this secret society. So when the phone rings and it's Caleb, it's just kind of like, fuck you, this dude's on the phone. And he really pulls this like, he kind of is an asshole and he's like, let me get him, sir. And like, it's this kind of like dick move. And he like throws the phone down on the couch and then he gets the phone call and then Chloe's standing there, which I'm like, at the same time, like people can ask you to leave if you're on the phone.
Right.
Like if they get a phone call, they have the ability to be like, you need to go. And so when Chloe gets really hurt that he's like, I got to take this call. And she's like, that was your friend and walks away. You're like, he's allowed to have a private phone call, Chloe.
Literally. Oh my God.
So Caleb tells Luke that he should go look under his pillow and they get there. And when they do, they realize that they have this thing that says like tonight, 8 p.m. and they have to go to the Skull's place, but it has like the black and white ribbon. And then they go. And so basically what ends up happening is they go and they're in this room and it's like the war room. And they're basically told like, you're in the starting phase of being admitted to this club. There's like several steps you have to take. The first one is you have to be fucking branded.
Oh my God. And then it gets worse because I'm like, ouch.
So they brand them on the wrist where they would wear their watch, and then they just put their watch on top of it.
Yeah, they give him a watch. I'm like, that would hurt really. I literally said when I was watching, I'm like, that would hurt so much.
I literally was thinking that. I was like, well, maybe the cold.
Maybe soothe it, but I feel like not.
But I was like, no, because it would be so, it'd be so gooey, like, because your flesh.
Ew.
I don't think they thought that part out.
I don't think so either, but ew.
No. They get branded, and they get a watch put on top of it, and this is where they receive their key, and they receive their personalized, like, rule book. And basically, the rule is skulls above anyone else, and their rules are law. Their rule book supersedes law. This is something they're told right away. And then we find out that there's like a chairman of the board of the Skulls, and it just so happens to be Caleb Mandrake's dad.
Papa.
Papa. Who is a total douche. You just tell he's a total douche. So he comes in, they do this whole thing, and Caleb and his dad's relationship is really strained.
Yeah.
His dad doesn't like Caleb very much at all. And I think this is like the step in which that he's like going to accept his son. So Caleb is doing this because he wants his dad's approval. They're like bros now.
Can we talk about something that was like very gay coded?
Yeah.
You didn't tell him about the buddy system.
Oh, the soulmates.
Yes. I was like, oh, how gay of them. I love this.
Yeah. So basically when they're being branded, they get a soulmate, and Caleb is Luke's soulmate. And I really hate that they call them soulmates.
It's so weird. I'm like, okay.
Because, like, you know, in, like, the Greek system, there's, like, the big and little. I could see them calling them, like, their mate or their, like, partner. But they literally, you're right, it was super gay coded. Which leads me to the next bit of information. When they go to the island,
It's just men.
it's all white dudes
Yeah, all white dudes in suits.
in suits.
Scary.
Yeah, so then they literally they're having this big party, right? Mind you, after the whole branding ceremony, Luke has like this confidence in him that he's like, I'm the shit now. And he asks Chloe on a date. Asks her to dinner. They go on a date. And then he's like, how hungry are you? And she's like, I'm very hungry. Like, it's dinner time, bitch. Feed me. And he's like, oh, okay, so more than $20. I got to go get some cash. And he goes and he puts his debit card in and he has like $20,000 in his bank account all of a sudden. And then she's like, oh my God, you are a skull. He's like, don't ask me. But like, obviously she knows now.
He's like, fuck yeah.
And he's so excited, right?
I mean, who wouldn't be to find an unexpected $20K, even in today's money?
I mean, if someone wants to put $20,000 in my bank account,
please do.
I'm happy about it. Super happy about it. Luke literally is so excited. He like hugs her and then picks her up. Like her arms are pinned to her side and he just picks her up and starts running down the street with her. And I was like, this is the funniest, cutest kidnapping I've ever seen. But they seem really happy and they're like in this kind of like lovey-dovey relationship, but like the start of it. And then Luke and them all go to this island. It's so funny because they have all these like jet boats. They're just like cruiser boats. So you can't really ski with them. They're just like for running around on a lake. And for those of you who haven't seen this movie, if you've watched the movie The Proposal, it's the boat that they use to like go from like the mainland to the island that the family lives on. It's like those type of boats.
Yeah.
And of course, it's just someone driving the boat. Who knows who that fucker is? And Caleb and Luke in the boat. And they're like looking at each other and they're like, yeah, this is so great. It's like that, like that late 90s, early 2000s coded, like, yeah, we're having really good fun. And they're just like looking at each other and smiling. Very Paul Walker-esque, which I always forget how blue his eyes are.
Oh my gosh, I know.
So they get to this place and they all have their own rooms. It's like a beautiful room. And so Luke doesn't really know how to handle all of this stuff. And so he like literally is like running around his room, looking at shit, looking at the clothes. And then he like jumps on the bed. He's just having fun. So then he puts on like his tuxedo that they have to wear. And obviously Luke has never been to a place where he's had to wear a tuxedo with tails. So he's like trying to tie his tie and he doesn't know how. So Caleb just like walks into his room and is like, do you need help, buddy? It's like a little bit more of that, like your soulmate ties your tie. They have a bro moment.
So cute.
And mind you, at this point, Luke has kind of started to date Chloe. And then they go to this like party and they're like meeting all these people. Like Luke meets Caleb's dad officially. And there's a senator who's a member of the Skulls. So there's all of that stuff. And so like they meet this like senator. And then all of a sudden these women just walk in. And this like brunette walks up to Luke and is like, are you Lucas? He's like, yeah. And they just start dancing.
So weird.
He just starts giggling.
Yeah, he's just like so giddy, so happy. And I'm like, what about your girlfriend?
Yeah, fuckface?
I thought he was about to like up and ditch her completely in this part. I was like, what the fuck?
Right. No, but it's so weird because like there's all these guys like Caleb ends up walking away with like two girls and they're just like laughing. So there's like this kind of thing, like we know that Caleb goes and scores, but we don't really know if Luke does. It kind of lends to that he probably did because this woman was like handpicked for Luke.
Right.
She just sees him and walks straight up to him and says his name. And then they dance. And it's like so weird.
Ew, yeah. 'Cause she's like, I know everything about you. Like, gross.
Mm-hmm. And then we never see her again.
Nope, we never do. We never see any of these women again. The whole movie.
Just never.
Mm-mm.
They never come back. So they're kind of like having this relationship. Luke and Caleb are now besties. Will and Luke aren't really talking anymore. Will has been like missing practice. Luke calls him out on it and he's like, I just have had other stuff to do. And he like leaves. And remember, Will is a journalist major. Well, then what ends up happening is we see that Caleb is actually an athlete as well. He's on the boxing team for Yale and he's doing his whole like boxy thing. And he leaves the gym and he goes out to the car and he sees that his car's been broken into. And he had his key to the Skulls and his book. Actually, we don't know. Like, he says he lost his book a while ago, right? Like, so he's just not been he's not a very good, like, keep track of thing. But Caleb realizes his key is missing. So he goes and asks Luke, can I borrow your key? I left mine in there. I need to go get it. And he's like, I'm just really worried. Like, they're going to kick me out. And Luke is like, they're not going to kick you out for leaving your key. Like, it's fine. So he goes in and he gets into, like, basically their war room. And they call it the war room because they say there's always a war going on. Maybe internal, maybe external. Who knows? So Caleb goes in there and Will is like in there and he's like recording and he's taking photos. He's like, describing it and all this stuff. And Caleb is like, you fucking stole my key. give it back. So Will's like, yeah, you can have your key back. And he's like, well, I need you to give me the recording and I need you to give me the camera and I need you to give me my book back. And Will's like, well, I don't have your book. We can get it another time. Basically was like, I'm not giving you my recording and camera. And so Caleb starts to chase him. They have like a little scuffle and then they get up on this like second, because there's like 2 layers. It's like a veranda kind of above the big pit of this war room. And Caleb and them get up there and then they're like fighting. Will falls down and basically gets knocked off the edge because there's no fucking railing. Because, you know, it looks really cool and dangerous when there's like a dude in a robe standing up there, but like it's very scary. So Will falls off the edge. Caleb grabs him by the foot and is like trying to hold him up and bring him back up. But then the shoe falls off and Will falls and hits his neck and Caleb freaks out and he runs down. And at this point, like the movie cuts. And so then what ends up happening is Luke is like really fucking frustrated that he hasn't been talking to Will. And so it's like, he knows Will's working at the Yale Bugle, I think is what they called it, or something like that, which we all know it's called the Yale Daily News.
Duh.
Yeah. Sorry, it's like another Gilmore Girl reference. Luke is like, oh my God, I got to go talk to Will. He goes into the newsroom to find Will and he finds him hanging from the ceiling, having committed suicide. And then he calls the police. Luke does everything right at this point. He calls the police. They bring someone in. The police look at the computer. It just like the last word document that's up says, I'm sorry. And it really does look like, you know, this dude has committed suicide. Except for what would be his motive?
Right.
Yes, he and his best friend are having a spat, but like, I don't think it was that dire.
No, and there was like nothing else bad happening in his life.
Right. So then we meet this like detective who just kind of doesn't trust Luke. He kind of goes in for questioning and it's really aggressive. And Luke is like, what the fuck? I just came to find my friend and he was dead. And at this point in time, Shooter McGavin shows up.
Oh my God.
He's the provost. And he shows up and he's like, detective, it's clear cut. Like, you got to leave this kid alone, blah, blah, blah. And come to find out he's one of the skulls.
I knew that. Like, that was so obvious immediately. I was like, he's involved. This bitch is involved. And then when they reveal that, I was like, yes.
Right? I was like,
sure. Okay.
So at this point, like, Luke doesn't really believe that this was a suicide. Like, there's part of him that's like tugging at his heart. Like, he doesn't know because he hasn't really talked to him in like probably a few months at this point. Like, it's been a minute. And Luke is in their room when like they're coming to like clean it out. And the mover pulls these books off a shelf and then like there's a false back to a shelf. And so it all falls down. And he finds, and the mover's like, what do you want me to do with this? And Luke's like, I'll take care of it. And he goes and looks. Luke finds photos of himself from like the initiation night where he drank the stuff.
Yeah.
And then he finds like a bunch of other stuff. But then he also finds Caleb Mandrake's Skull's rule book. Dun, dun, dun. And he's like, what the fuck? So then he goes and he like, you know, he starts investigating this shit. So he basically like begins to suspect that Caleb somehow killed Will. And he has no idea how it happened. So at this point, he's like, I don't trust people, blah, blah, blah. He talks to Chloe about it a little bit, but not a ton. And then he taps the best people for the job.
The riffraffs.
His childhood friends.
Yay.
The riffraffs. The townies. And I was like, those are not the townies from New Haven.
No.
So Caleb goes and talks to them because, mind you, they've given him like this beautiful car. And they were like, why would we help you? And he's like, well, if you help me, this car is yours. And so he's like, okay. So they start like watching what's happening because basically at this point, Caleb and Will talk about it, or Caleb and Luke talk about it. And Caleb is like, it was an accident. Caleb tells his side of the story, which is that I caught him in here. I chased him around to try to get the camera. He slipped and fell and he died. And so I called some people and they made it look like an accident. Luke is just not buying it. So then they are like, okay, there's obviously has to be some sort of like videotape of this, right? And so they go and they try to find it. This is where the riffraff people come in. So they literally like spy on someone until they find the fact that there's someone comes twice a day at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. and pulls tapes. And then they store the tapes in this like part of the like library where no one is allowed to go into, and then there's like a secret place behind it. And this is where the riffraff comes in. As they're like riffraff, but they have like high tech because they have like that snake camera thing, and then like they have like giant police grade walkie-talkie. I'm like, oh my god.
My thought was Luke just paid for all of that because he's got all that money.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. That makes sense. But still, they know how to use it.
Yeah.
So really, they start investigating into it. And then people are high members of this group come to Luke and are like, you have to stop. Because Caleb actually is like, you have to fucking stop trying to like figure out like what happened. And this is what happened. Stop it. And Luke doesn't believe it. So then they eventually have this plan. Oh, also, because of the fact that Caleb's like, they're watching you, it would really suck for something to happen to your little girlfriend upstairs, and basically threatens Chloe. So Chloe and Luke have a fake breakup in the middle of the cafeteria.
Ah, yes.
Where basically it's supposedly that he wrote a note to break up with her, and she comes screaming at him in the cafeteria and then storms off. And then Luke ends up going back to her place, and they start talking, and they like turn up the music and put on the like shower, and they're talking. And then he's like, you can't help me. You have to stay out of this. And she's like, no, I'm not going to stay out of this. I want to help you. And he's like, no, it's for your own good. You got to like stay away. And she's like, my family could help you. And like, we could get you out of town and all this stuff. And then he's like, no. And there's like this huge like over talking fight that's happening. And she's like, because I love you, Luke. And then they do it, but they don't do it on camera. Let's just put that way.
No, it's like a fade to black. Go away. Yeah.
It's actually a fade to steam, Tara.
No, fade to steam. Yes.
Because they're in a bathroom. They're hotboxing a bathroom essentially with the shower.
Yeah.
And so they come up with this plan. She joins the riffraff group of people, and they go and they literally break out and they get the tapes, and then they run away. And then Luke, they watch it and they watch what happens.
So sad.
And basically what the story is Caleb is telling the truth. Caleb chased him around. He tried to help him up. He fell. He broke his neck and died, according to Caleb. Caleb gets down, thinks he's dead, calls his dad. His dad tells him to get the fuck out of there. A little while later, the provost shows up and he snaps his neck. Because Will is not dead. Because we see Will moving, right? Like Will's like probably a little bit paralyzed at this point because he fell on his neck or on his head. And so he's like trying to get help and reaching for the provost. And then the guy just breaks his neck.
Snap.
Yeah. So when that happens, Luke is like, holy fucking shit. So he's like, I got to go to the police. So he goes to the police and he has the tape. But as he's getting there, Caleb Mandrake is leaving after telling everyone that Luke is the one who actually killed Will and that they all helped cover it up because, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no. And they're having this like huge fight and all of this stuff. But as all of this is happening, mind you, Caleb's dad is behind the scenes trying to manipulate everything. And the board gets together and they take a vote because they have a plan for Luke where they're going to like get him arrested and then they're going to get him institutionalized. So Caleb plays a part of that because he has to be the one that goes and tells the police on this. But Caleb's dad basically has blackmail on every single person in that room. And the senator that we mentioned earlier, his name is Levette. And he is like, I'm not doing this because they have to do this by unanimous vote. And so he was like, I'm not going to fucking vote for this. And then he and Mandrake go into a room by themselves. And Mr. Mandrake is like, who's, by the way, is trying to become a federal judge.
Right. Yeah.
He tells the senator, like, look, it's so weird because like this is so like the level of like detail this man has on the blackmail. It's not only that the senator is having an affair with a 19-year-old girl, it's that she likes to eat popsicles after they do it. So it's like, wow, he has like detailed blackmail.
For sure.
So then they retake a vote. Of course, the guy is like,
okay, fine.
Fine. Please don't tell my wife.
Yeah. Don't ruin my career. Thank you.
Don't ruin my career. Don't ruin my life. And the thing is that the senator and Mr. Mandrake were soulmates. They were the Caleb and Luke, which kind of sounds like they always fracture.
Yeah, for sure.
So then this is happening. They're at the police station. Luke gives the detective the tape and they put it in and it's nothing but snow. There's no anything. So then he starts freaking out because he starts spewing conspiracy at this point. Like, what do they have on you? Like, you're dirty, blah, 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 all this stuff. And so they literally take him and put him in, they institutionalize him. Well, Chloe is like, abso-fucking-lutely not. Where did my boyfriend go? And she basically is like trying to find him. and she gets a hold of the senator somehow.
Yeah, I was like, that's a big plot hole. I'm like, how the fuck?
I think he gets a hold of her.
Oh, yeah, because he pretty much is like, do. Yeah.
And the underlining theme of the senator is he's trying to take Mandrake down. And so he's using Luke to do it. Spoiler alert for this. So actually, at about this time, like they're going to meet up or whatever, Chloe goes and tells Caleb, she's like, where is he? And he's like, I don't know where he is. I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. And then she tells Caleb that Will was actually still alive. Chloe and Caleb actually know each other. They went to school together and they apparently dated at one point in time. And Chloe tells him, like, wouldn't you find it interesting if you found out that he was still alive after? And this is where Caleb is like, what the fuck? Like, no. And so then she goes to leave and then the provost is chasing her.
He is. Yep.
Well, first it's like the guy that like goes and collects the tape attacks her and she beats the fuck out of him.
Yeah, she does. Go, girl.
I was like, get it, girl. Right? Like, she was fucking runs out of the parking structure. The provost is there. She's like running down the street away from the provost. That's when the senator pulls up.
And she hops in his car. Yeah.
She gets in the car and then they go, because he's like, I'm going to take you to see, you're right. Because that's how they find this out is he goes, I'm going to take you to see Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get there, they find him. Luke is like, mind you, they've taken his watch. So it's just his skull's brand is just out and it looks infected.
Yeah, it looks disgusting. It's all like white lifted nastiness surrounding this little tiny dime size brand. It's gross. Yeah.
I don't know how brands heal because I've never had one, but like don't ever want one.
No, but I'm like, he's in a hospital. Why are they not putting any like Neosporin on it or something?
They also have him like strapped with meds to a chair and like,
ew, and he's just drooling like so out of it. And I'm like, okay, how fast he comes out of that here in a couple minutes? I'm like, okay, because he is like vegetable.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't really come out of it that well.
No, but I mean like enough where he's like up moving around when they take off. That's not that much longer.
Oh, that's true. They do like, she does like basically just kind of like go under his arm and like carry him to the car. And they put him in the car and because the senator gives her, he's like, I got the car for you. This has been a plan the whole time.
Yes.
The senator was going to find Chloe. This was his plan. He gets her in the car and then he gets in his car and he makes a phone call that says, okay, they're in the car. They're all yours. And then the next thing we see is Chloe's like driving and she's like, I got you. And he is just kind of like wacky inflatable blow up man. Like he's just like flopping because he's like super still medicated. And she's like, it's going to be okay. And he's like, just not. And then all of a sudden she looks in the rearview mirror right at the last second when a dark SUV like slams into them, which this dark SUV belongs to the provost. And so then they have like this epic chase scene. And for a girl who now we have no knowledge of her ability to do high level car maneuvers, keeps that shit on the road. And it's like a fucking Saturn.
Yeah.
It's not like this high powered car. It's just like a 4-door sedan. It's like a sedan, right? And he's like in this like Jeep and is like trying to run her off the road. And at one point in time, she actually like does a like almost a pit maneuver. And she does a pit maneuver and spins him off the road, but he somehow gets out of it. There's a semi truck coming. And I'm like, why don't you just drive him into the semi truck, the provost? But they like go off this like kind of embankment and down onto these railroad tracks. And then like, she just keeps driving, even though the end of the railroad tracks is right there. And they crash into it. And then he gets out and they have a gun. Luke can't fight. Luke is still in the fucking car.
You're right.
She gets out and she's like fighting the provost at this point. And he's going to like shoot her. And then all of a sudden he gets shot from down below. Choo-choo.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise. It's the detective who was the phone call the senator made because he was trying to be like, go get her. Then Luke gets out of the car.
That's what I'm saying. He just like magically just pops out. I'm like, okay.
Like after the like hard time of all of this.
Yeah, like incapacitated to, oh, let me see what's going on now. Like, all right, guy.
Right. So he basically explains to Luke, yeah, I work for the senator, blah, blah, blah. So then they go to this like hotel. she goes and buys him all new clothes because, mind you, he's in like patient clothing. And he, I think, probably slept for some time, and she got him coffee, which is going to make him okay. Because I'm just going to say, like, if you're in an IV medicated, like, drooly state, that's going to take a while to like fully come out of.
Right. Yeah. Nope. Coffee fixes everything.
Right. Coffee is a miracle drug. One of the things that the senator says to Chloe is like, remind Luke that we live by the rules, we die by the rules. And so when he's like, I got to figure out how to take down Mandrake and all this stuff. And she goes, oh, right. The senator says this. And then he basically goes and he looks and he finds this, because Luke is studious and he has read the rule book, unlike Caleb. So he finds this like rule that basically says that if there's like a disagreement amongst brothers, they can handle it in a gentlemanly way, which is to duel.
I loved it. As soon as he said that word, I was like, oh my God, are they going to duel? And then he's like, by a duel. I was like, yes.
Right. Because not all of us, probably now we would understand it more because of Bridgerton.
Right.
So it's rule 119. And so basically he goes and he does this challenge. And of course, Caleb's dad is like, dude, you can't do this. No, that's like antiquated. And then the senator pops out from the back and he's like,
Actually,
you have to do it. Blah, blah, blah. It's the rules. And then like the guy who's the keeper of the rules is like, you gotta.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, guy.
He's challenged him, right? At this point in time, Luke is initiated into the skulls whether he wants to or not. Like in the skull's mind, he's just going to spend the rest of his days there, or they're going to leave him there until like he's compliant. And at this point, they're like, everyone's initiated in and you all get money. And Caleb looks down and he has like a check for $100,000 just like sitting on a pool table, like casually, like how you might throw a 20 down for a game. So then he's like, okay. So then Caleb's dad is like, I want to stand in for my son. And there's a rule that says that parents and family members cannot stand in for their children. And no one else is willing to stand in for Caleb. So they go out and they have a duel, and then they bring out the dueling pistols. There's like literally they have like a dueling, like
a whole setup. There's like 3 cases of multiple guns each. There's like 6 or more guns to choose from that are all like the gunpowder. Like you see the little pull things to like, do it manually. I was just like, oh my God.
But my favorite part is that like you can tell that this is like a dueling pitch or whatever. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Because there's like where you stand and it's like a cross, and then like where they're supposed to walk to turn. So they do this. Mind you, at the beginning of the movie, when he first meets Caleb's dad tells Luke, oh, you should come to our house for Thanksgiving. We hunt and we eat whatever we kill. And he's like, Luke is an excellent shot. So when Caleb's dad's like, you're going to die, Luke, because this dude is really good.
Yeah. You could back out still.
Right. And Luke is like, nope, I'm going to do it. And so they have this duel, and then they turn around and Caleb has the gun pointed at him, and like Luke has dropped the gun and is like, no, think about it, blah, blah, blah. And so he basically tells him that like your dad did this, like your dad killed Will, like it's all this stuff. It's true, blah, blah, blah. Caleb is now believing. Then Caleb does this really weird off character thing and shoots his dad. And then Caleb's dad is like, I am so disappointed in you. Of course you're disappointed in him. He shot you. And then Caleb is like, oh no. And he walks away and he like goes to shoot himself, and Luke saves him. And then basically it's like the end of the movie, Caleb just like leaves. He does confront the senator and he's like, this was your plan all along. And he basically tells him like, regardless of how you feel about this, you're a skull. You'll always be a skull. And when you need a favor, you can call on me. And the same, if I need a favor, I can call on you, because technically the senator did save his life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's like, you owe me, bitch.
Right. Luke then leaves. He doesn't have to participate in the skull stuff, but he's still a skull. And he goes and he finds Chloe, and they're by a lighthouse. I was like, are there lighthouses in New Haven? What's happening?
I mean, the ocean, it's coastal. They've obviously went somewhere else. So
yeah. My
thought was the symbolism with it, because, they used to use lighthouses to guide them, blah, blah, blah. And Chloe's his lighthouse. Yeah. That was my thought of it on this little happy ending. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then they leave, and then the credits roll, and it was directed by Rob Cohen.
It was so fun, though. Such a fun movie.
It's such a fun movie. I'm going to let you guys know there are sequels. We have not watched them, and we are refusing to watch them because I just don't want to ruin the integrity of this.
It's different cast, too.
It's a different cast. I mean, I read the wiki, and they do a callback
Okay.
They say former member, but I'm like, that goes against the end of the movie because basically the senator was like, you ain't fucking getting out, dude.
Right.
So I hope you enjoyed our retelling of the movie The Skulls. It is literally one of my favorite movies from my teenagehood, and it definitely deserves a watch. You can watch it for free on Tubi. We're not sponsored. Somebody tag Tubi a lot so that maybe they will sponsor us.
Literally. But you guys know we love Tubi.
Yes.
More Tubi movies to come.
Especially if you like horror movies or if you like older movies, Tubi does a lot of those. So.
Mm-hmm. And shows too.
Oh yeah.
Tons of shows.
So many good things. So definitely check it out. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and we will see you back here on Sunday for another Sunday Scaries. Toodles.
Bye.